What's going on, everybody? K to the 2 here with PPL Division 2 Season 3 Week 2. Our Harlem Gloomtrotters are going up against RubyMarrow and his Cleveland Bros. Now, I already went over my team in my team analysis that I posted a couple days ago. Let me go ahead and apologize for this match being so late. Let me explain what went down. So, weekend prior to us playing, we were both participating in the Toke Minorities Summer Showdown tournament. Just like the March Madness tournament, it lasted an entire day on a weekend. So I decided I would put all of my time into that. I knew that I would have enough time on Sunday, the Saturday after the tournament, the day after the tournament, in order to prep my team, get it genned, and get my match done. We planned on having our battle Tuesday morning. However, Ruby, his Jenner wasn't able to get back to him by the time that I had to leave in order to go to a baseball game that I won tickets to. So we didn't end up playing until I got back on Tuesday night, and I wasn't able to get somebody to record my battle until Wednesday morning, at which point I had already left for work. Now, when I got back from work, it was already too late for me to record. Thursday, I spent all day working on school stuff in order to get myself ready for the semester. And then I've worked every day since. So, this is the first chance. Today is Sunday, Sunday evening. First chance that I've had to sit down and record this battle. Now, if you guys have already seen the team builder, or have seen his side of the match, you've already, if you've seen his side of the match, you already know what happens, and you're just coming here to see my thought process behind each of the plays that I made, or you're watching for the first time, and you get to see exactly what happened. Now let's get into the team builder part. If you haven't seen the team, I highly recommend that you go check out that team builder as I go into each set, why I'm bringing it more in depth than I am going to right now. Just a brief overview. I am bringing a Taunt and Stun Spore, Whimsicott. I'm bringing a Choice Scarf, Supersonic Weavile with Beat Up and Pursuit. I am bringing a Sub Nasty Plot Thunderous Therian. I am bringing a Spikes, T-Spikes, and Explosion Custap Fortress. I am bringing a Rocky Helmet Lando T with Stealth Rocks. And I am bringing a Light Clay Dual Screens, also Tail Golem Scald Manaphy. Now, team seems pretty weird, yeah. Also, I forgot to mention that Whimsicott has a Rocky Helmet as well. So dual Rocky Helmet in order to punish his physical attackers such as Dragonite and especially Mega Lopunny to punish the fake outs that don't do as much damage to my team. So, now that we've gone over the team a little bit, let's look at the potential lead matchup. I heavily expected him to lead Donphan, and overall I just felt that Whimsicott had a great lead against everything on his team bar Pyroar. And there was the possibility that I let off with Lando T, so he might not have wanted to lead off with the Pyroar. So just 100% I feel the safest lead that I could have is the Whimsicott. So let's go ahead and start the match, see what he goes and leads with. So I'm thinking, if he leads Donphan, right off the bat, I'm thinking, let's just taunt it. I do not want rocks on my side of the field. So we are going to send out the Whimsicott first. And he is indeed going to send out his Donphan. So, first turn, I am going to taunt, and I'm going to block those Stealth Rocks from coming up. Not much Donphan can do to me, and I can get off a free Energy Ball here. However, I am going to predict the switch into the Pyroar, and I'm going to get off a Stun Spore. Now, Stun Spore originally was for his faster things, such as, of course, Pyroar and Jirachi, both of which have a pretty free switch into Whimsicott because Whimsicott can't really touch them. So Stun Spore is a great move in order to slow them down, get me some initiative into things like Manaphy or Weavile in order to start doing heavy damage to his team. So again, Stun Spore, I just felt like overall was my best play. So we are going to go for it, and we do catch the Pyroar coming in. However, we miss the Stun Spore, which really sucks because let's go ahead and talk about the situation. I don't really have anything to switch into this. If I was able to get that Stun Spore off, I would have been able to go straight into Manaphy, and not, or I would still be 2-hit KO'd, but he would be forced out fearing the Scald. So what is going to happen here is I'm going to have to fire off another Stun Spore and basically sack off Whimsicott in order to get a free switch into Manaphy. However, he is going to somewhat overpredict here, go for the Hyper Voice, and if he had gone for the Flamethrower or the Fire Blast, I would be dead right now, but I am alive. But I took huge unnecessary damage because of that 25% miss on the Stun Spore switch-in. So already I'm set way back. I could have used this thing to switch into like Mega Lopunny, Dragonite. It just keep them from being at full health, and put things basically in range, and just like having another switch into moves would be great, but I have one less thing that I can really switch in, and now Whimsicott's basically used just as death fodder basically for the rest of the game because I can't really do too much. I can't switch into things like Rotom because I die to like burns and stuff. So yeah, Whimsicott's basically wasted. So now that this thing is paralyzed, we can go ahead and get into it. He is going to go straight for the Hyper Voice once again. It's going to do just about half, just a little bit, tiny bit over half. And now he is forced out. I know that I can get up my light screen right now, so that's what I'm going to do, as he goes into Rotom. So right here, I know that he's going to want to click Will-O-Wisp. I don't really care. I'm just going to go straight into Lando because I just want to get out my rocks. I do have HP flying on this for the Chestnut, which is great, so I don't mind being burned overly too much. HP flying also hits Megalop, and I just want to get my rocks up. I can Toxic this Rotom if I need to, if he decides to stay in. He can't Volt Switch out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plop a Toxic right off the bat in order to start racking up damage if he wants to stay in and go for the Hydro Pump. Which he does, and he actually misses, so that kind of makes up for the Stun Spore miss, but not really at all, because like Lando still lives that Hydro Pump, and it would be a 2-hit KO anyway. I get up my rocks and my Toxic, both of them no matter what. But with the Hydro Pump and the burn damage, I am going to be put into a range that I can't stay in. I basically lose Lando again. So Lando pretty much wasted. I'm going to save it though, because it still has use as a sack to get off Rocky Helmet damage and Intimidate on the Lopunny. And he's going to predict this, switch into Fortress, go straight for the Will-O-Wisp. Again, I don't really mind too much. I just have enough speed on this to outspeed a non-invested Donphan so I can get off my Explosion and block his spin anyway. So what he's going to do is he's going to opt to go straight into his Donphan, which is great. So I'm going to go ahead and set up the T-Spike, which is going to punish the Megalop for switching in, fake outing, and I'm just going to go ahead and click Explosion here. Completely fine, kind of safe, except he is pretty speedy Donphan. And I'm going to explode after he gets the spin off, and now basically Lando, its job was useless. I set up a T-Spike that only got spun away, and now Fortress is gone. I don't even get all that much damage. It puts this thing around 60%. And now I'm forced basically into Manaphy in order to try and get off damage on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and set up my Reflect. It has been, I had counted the turns, it had been enough turns to where the light screen is going to wear off this turn. So I'm going to have 8 turns of light screen and 7 turns of reflect, or whatever it is, in order to try and set up with TheDonphanatic, because at this point I need to do that in order to break through his team. He is going to again Willow the Manaphy, and I'm just thinking, you know what? I just want to get rid of this Rotom. It's going to be kind of a threat, so I'm just going to go ahead and Scald this, trying to sack off Manaphy, really. And possibly catch something on a switch if he wants to go into something. And he's actually going to Hydro Pump here, expecting me to switch out or something. And he is going to survive on a sliver of health, and I'm just going to knock this thing out with the Scald. So instead of Manaphy being the one going down, Rotom is the one that goes down. And he has Switch Initiative that wastes another turn of screens, and now Manaphy is in the red health. So a lot of things getting really worn down. A lot of things that I'm just going to have to use as sacks later on in the game. So he brings in his Mega Lock here, and I know 100% I can go into Lando T. I've put all my eggs in one basket at this point, and I need to get off this this setup with Thundy. And I know that with a Reflect Up and at -1, Mega Lock can't really do too much to Thundy T. Like, if he is carrying Ice Punch, that barely breaks a sub, but he wouldn't want to stay in here. So I know I have a free Nasty Plot because he cannot 2-hit KO me with anything. So I'm going to go ahead and Nasty Plot up as he sends in the Donphan, which is completely great. I know I can knock this thing out. Let's hold on. I know I can knock this thing out with an HP Ice, however, I want to potentially get behind a sub. So, as you can see here, he is going first. He does have the Ice Shard, and you can see right here, it does less than 25%. The roll that I count, if he is Adamant Max Attack, does 24.5% maximum. So I know he cannot break a sub with an Ice Shard. He's basically forced himself into Ice Shard here. Now, basically, the only chance that he has of breaking my sub is if he crits me, and the only chance that he has even barely of living this is if he's Yachi Berry and I get an absolute min roll. So really, what are the chances of that happening? So he's going to go ahead and get the Ice Shard off, and he gets the crit, and it breaks my sub on the turn that I was going to kill this Donphan. And he does have the Yachi Berry, and I do get the absolute min roll, and Reflect wears off. So, I can't stay in here, and I'm basically forced into a situation to where if I want to win this game, I now have to do it with my Scarf Weavile, flinching things to death with Icicle Crash. And I can only do that if I get a free switch into Manaphy in order to get up another Reflect. So that's the situation I've been forced into. Yeah, that really got under my skin. This was a I did the math afterwards. 1.17% chance of happening, and it happened. And now I basically just 90%, like 98% of the time will lose this game now because of a 1.17% chance. Basically, he wastes at least one other mon in order to break Thundy's sub and to revenge kill it. If I do not get this kill on the Donphan, or if he doesn't break my sub. So that would be either Chestnut or Dragonite, both of which have Yachi Berry, which is cool. Both of which would have been 2-hit KO'd by the HP Ice anyway. So that's 2 less mons on his side of the field that I basically now have to worry about because Weavile cannot beat his entire team. So yeah, that's going to, we're just gonna see me kind of switch around, get myself into enough positions in order to still keep myself in the game. I know that he's going to go for Ice Shard. I need to sack off Whimsicott at this point. Unfortunately, so Whimsicott goes down. I'm going to go ahead and go straight into Weavile. I'm going to click Icicle Crash because I know that he's going to have to switch out or lose Donphan, and he still has the Ice Shard, which is pretty nice priority for the thing. And for the thing? What do you mean? Let's slow down. Pretty nice priority for Thundy, because now that Reflect isn't up, Thundy can't really reliably set up a sub against the rest of his team. And yeah, I clicked Icicle Crash, and he goes straight into Pyroar, either sacking it off to a Dark-type move or switching into the Ice-type move. Pretty good play on his part. And at this point, I now have to sack off Thundy, because I cannot risk losing my only chance of winning this game in Weavile. So I'm going to go straight into Thundy, take the Hyper Voice, and I'm going to go into Manaphy in order to set up their Reflect, in order to try and win this game. After the Life Orb damage, we saw that Icicle Crash did about that much health plus another Life Orb hit, so it's good to go into this and get up the Reflect anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead and sack off Manaphy, and now it's basically Weavile against the world. It's like 5v1 at this point, and now he is in range of Icicle Crash, as we saw before, so I'm just going to go into it. I basically get a free kill here. Now that Reflect is up, he cannot go into Megalop or Dragonite, even with the Yachi Berry. He can't kill me with an E-Speed, so it would be kind of a waste. So down goes Chesnaught, and next up he's going to bring in the Donphan. I don't know why, he just goes for Ice Shard. Maybe he wanted to break my Sash, a potential Sash. However, he could have done that with Megalop as well, with the Fake Out, and down goes Donphan, so I've pulled it back to a 3-1 at this point. And now I have to win within the next however many turns that Reflect is still up. So Megalop can switch in, Fake Out, switch out to waste 2 turns of my Reflect. He can go either into Dragonite or Chesnaught. And if he doesn't get the crit, I'm still going to be out of range with the Reflect up of a Extreme Speed from Dragonite. So that's the situation right now. He is going to go ahead and go for the Fake Out, and he gets the crit, which seals my fate. I literally cannot do anything at this point anymore. He's going to go ahead, and actually I am going to get the flinch here, but it's only going to waste another turn. He's going to opt to switch out into his Chesnaught. He is going to have the Yachi Berry, as you're going to see. So he has 3 Yachi Berries on his team, which was cool. But Chesnaught is going to easily be able to eat this up. I could potentially kill this thing still if I get another flinch and bring it down to a 2-0 instead of a 3-0. But as you're going to see, I'm not going to get the flinch. I barely miss out on the KO. I don't even know how much, if that was a roll or not. Not quite sure. But Chesnaught able to knock out Weavile, and that is going to be our first loss of the season. Not gonna lie, I was really salty after this match. It was probably for the best that I had like a like this extra time to just get it out of my system and realize that it's a game and that I really couldn't do anything after that point, and I gave myself, I feel like, the best chance to win that game, and it was taken away from me. So yeah, that's going to be the game. If you enjoyed, go ahead and leave a like. Next week we go up against Evelyn and the Herdia Bremen, so make sure to keep an eye out for that match. And right now, I pretty much have a fire lit under me. This match basically opened my eyes and said, you know what, we need to step it up for the rest of the year. One loss, like, even with my standards, that's unacceptable. One loss, even if it was the Hex, it's just, I feel like I'm better than that. I feel like I definitely could have prepped a little bit better this match. Not running max speed on Fortress probably lost me a lot of momentum in that game as well. And you know what? That's on me. So I need to step up my prep, my game, so that even with hacks, I can still win games. That's my thought process, and if I can do that, I feel like I definitely can and will pull off, like, at least I'll do better than this week. That's all I'm saying. So, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like, and I will see you guys next time.